Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation with a powerful topic, the power of reflection. On this first slide, we see the title, Disarm and Infuriate with the Mirror Effect, which is Law 44. Over the next few slides, we'll explore how understanding and using reflection can influence others effectively. We'll cover key concepts, techniques, and real-world examples to help you master this skill. So, let's dive in and discover how the mirror effect can be a game changer in your interactions. The mirror reflects reality, but it's also a powerful tool for deception. When you mirror your enemies, doing exactly what they do, they can't figure out your true strategy. It's a way to stay one step ahead, keeping your intentions hidden. The mirror effect isn't just about copying, it's about mocking and humiliating them by making them overreact. By holding up a mirror to their psyches, you can seduce them into believing you share their values, which makes them let their guard down. Similarly, by reflecting their actions back to them, you teach them a lesson without direct confrontation. This technique is all about control, using reflection to manipulate perceptions and keep your opponents off balance. It fits into the larger theme of strategic influence, showing how perception and deception can be more powerful than brute force. Now let's take a closer look at the 4 mirror effects. These are powerful tools for influencing perception and behavior. First, we have the neutralizing effect. This is about disarming your opponent by neutralizing their strategies, preventing them from gaining the upper hand. It's like turning their own tactics against them. Next, we come to the narcissus effect. Here, you mirror what your enemy does, copy their moves, follow their lead. This not only confuses them, but also blocks their ability to see what you're really planning behind the scenes. It's a way to keep your intentions hidden while disrupting theirs. Moving on, the moral effect involves reflecting your target's desires, values, and tastes back at them. Think of it as creating an image of themselves that they fall in love with. That's the power of seduction through reflection. It's about aligning with their inner values to gain influence. Finally, the hallucinatory effect is about giving your targets a taste of their own medicine. If they've wronged you or tried to deceive you, treat them the same way to make them feel the pain they caused. It's a form of poetic justice that can be very impactful. Together, these 4 mirror effects form a strategic framework for influence, deception, and control. They're about understanding human nature and using that insight to shape perceptions and outcomes in your favor. When Alcibiades defected to Sparta, he didn't just switch sides, he actively mirrored their way of life. He started eating coarse broth, wearing rough clothes, and exercising brutally, things that Spartans highly valued. And you know what? The Spartans loved him for it. They saw their own core values reflected in his behavior, which made him incredibly persuasive. In a way, he became a mirror of their culture, and through that reflection, he managed to seduce an entire city-state to his side. This is a perfect example of Alcibiades being the ultimate chameleon, adapting himself to fit the environment he was in. When he was in Athens, for instance, he lived quite differently, elegantly, with sophistication and style. So, what does this tell us? It highlights his extraordinary ability to adapt and manipulate his image, an essential trait if you want to influence different groups or navigate complex political landscapes. It's a reminder that sometimes, the most effective way to win others over is to genuinely or strategically reflect their values and culture. So, instead of getting into an argument or confrontation with the patient, Erikson chose to mirror his reality. He acknowledged what the patient believed about himself, saying, "I understand you are a carpenter." By doing this, Erikson effectively met the patient where he was emotionally and psychologically. Then, he transitioned into action by putting the patient to work building bookshelves, which was a productive activity. This approach, entering the patient's world through mirroring, allowed Erikson to guide him back to helpful, constructive behavior without resistance or conflict. It demonstrates a powerful technique. Rather than oppose the patient's beliefs or feelings, reflect and work within that reality to foster change. This technique was also applied to more complex cases, like a patient who believed he was Jesus Christ. Erikson's use of the mirror effect highlights how understanding and aligning with a patient's perspective can be a transformative tool in therapy. Overall, this reflects a core theme of Erickson's work: the importance of respecting the patient's worldview and subtly guiding them toward positive change by engaging with their reality, rather than fighting against it. Let's take a closer look at the shadow strategy. This approach hinges on the idea that when you mirror your opponent's moves, it can really throw them off. They get frustrated because their tactics aren't working, and they try to shake you off with wilder, more aggressive moves. But instead of reacting in kind, you mirror those moves again. This cycle can exhaust them, making them more likely to make a mistake or overreach out of frustration. When you copy your opponent's actions, you essentially become invisible in their eyes. They can't read your true intentions because your responses are just echoes of their own actions. This creates a sort of psychological shield. Mimicry serves as a powerful tool. It's like a shield that protects you from their attempts to control or predict you. It allows you to stay one step ahead by blending in, confusing them, and ultimately gaining the upper hand. This tactic ties into the overall theme of strategic patience and psychological mastery, showing how understanding and manipulating perceptions can be a decisive advantage. Now, let's talk about the reversal, avoiding the hall of mirrors. This is a crucial concept because it highlights the risks of mirroring situations that we don't fully understand. When we do this, we risk getting trapped in a reflection that we can't control. Imagine being stuck in an endless loop where neither side can make progress. This is what I mean by a mental trap. It's important to remember that if we mirror someone too perfectly or for too long, we start losing our own identity. We become so absorbed in the reflection that we forget who we really are. This is the danger of reflection. So the key takeaway here is to be cautious about mirroring. Use it intentionally, but always stay aware of how much you're reflecting and whether it's serving your true self and your goals. When we do this mindfully, we avoid falling into these confusing and potentially harmful loops, keeping our interactions clear and authentic.